I never knew that I wanted to be a chartered accountant. I actually always wanted to be a journalist. And my dad said to me, he'll see me end up writing for the community paper and I'll be his problem for the rest of his life. So he advised me to study chartered accountancy, and he said I can always write financial articles later when I'm done. Post articles, KPMG in the Department of Professional Practice offered me a post as a manager. That was really the KPMG Center of Excellence that would have advised. It was Africa's biggest business unit from a technical perspective. So I worked there for about 1 year and 3 months, advising clients on public sector, and I also kept a portfolio of audit clients, one of which was the National Youth Development Agency. The NYDA was going through different phases in its lifetime, but what had happened at that point in time was the CFO, Katura Mukumba, had been offered to become the Chief Executive Officer. He called me up on a Friday afternoon and said, "I'd love for you to come and work with me here at the NYDA and be my CFO." Yeah, 4 years later, here we are, and it really has been a journey. When I joined the NYDA, it was really an agency that was in crisis. It had 133 million rand in irregular expenditure. It had 11 matters of non-compliance on its audit report. It had 4 emphasis of matters. It represented a lot of what was wrong with government at the time. But as we look back, 3 successive clean audits for the agency, over 2,500 new businesses started, 10,000 jobs created, more than 100,000 young people placed in available job opportunities. So it really has been a journey. A bright new head office here in the center of Gauteng as well. So it's been a wonderful journey. And towards the end of last year, my mentor and my colleague Katu then said that he had walked his journey. He'd run his race, and that he'd been mentoring me for the past 3.5 years, and he would recommend to the board that then I take over as the chief executive of the agency. And here we are today, still the same confused young person, but with a little bit more direction in his life. The best training you get is during your articles, when you have to make decisions based on information that's available in front of you. I think the ethical courses that are presented to us during our training, during our articles as well, also help us to make decisions. And I've learned over my time that the best thing to always do is to consider the probability of evidence in front of you before making a decision, especially in relation to an ethical dilemma, and to take your time if needs be and not make hasty decisions, because often those are the ones that may get you into trouble. Technology seems to be moving much faster than any of us can keep up with. You just think of Uber and Facebook and Google and the whole impact that Silicon Valley has had, and the 4th industrial revolution and the changes in artificial intelligence that will bring to our work. I work with young people who are on the other end of the spectrum, whereas the world seems to be moving fast. They seem to be bearing the brunt of more poverty and inequality, and the gap is becoming further and further to bridge in the world today, and as government, we consider it our responsibility to create equal opportunity for everybody. So, for example, things like access to broadband, access to information, because in our view, the most valuable commodity today is not gold or diamonds, not even Bitcoin anymore. The most valuable commodity today is data, and how we use data to influence planning and also to influence how we make decisions and how we take the world forward through technology. We know that the youth statistics are dire in South Africa. For example, you're looking at youth unemployment, which stands at about 60%. You look at young people without matric is about 59%. Youth are 70% more likely to be victims of assault or perpetrators of assault, for that matter. So the statistics tend to speak for themselves. And it's not solely the NYDA's responsibility, but we have a fundamental role to play in government. What I would like to see the NYDA become, first of all, is a thought leader on youth development matters. So an advisor to government on what is the best policies and interventions that government can make in a young person's life. And being that thought leader, being able to express reasons and recommendations for the number of unemployed graduates that we have out there, for the high dropout rate in matric, and to put in place measures to stop that. So I'd really like us to be able to be the voice of those voiceless young people in South Africa. Secondly, I think that we are very passionate here about entrepreneurship and the impact that entrepreneurship can have on the overall creation of the economy. A few years ago, we took a decision that we'd no longer provide loans and we'd start providing grants because we want to stimulate entrepreneurship in this country. Currently, we're seeing good results, but we'd like to see exponential results, and we'd like to see us creating large-scale black manufacturers, black industrialists, to really see that boost in the economy. I think lastly, what we want to do is, we understand that there's a value chain that a young person goes through, from early childhood development to basic education, to health, and then to higher education. So we want to be able to measure that value chain, to be able to ensure that where government has made commitments to young people, we're following through on those commitments. And we want to also be able to call out government to say, where there are failings, let's address those failings. So we largely want to become the monitoring and evaluation function for youth development to produce better outcomes for young people in South Africa.